I was laughing because I don't eat steak anyways, but I was like, yo, if Green Velvet buys the steak, I'm eating it. And like, I don't eat red meat. I haven't eaten red meat in a really long time.
But you were about to.
I was going to, but he brought avocado toast, and he was like, what the fuck? Man.
I can't say enough about Codes. He's a crazy talented producer, a sick DJ, and a wild turntablist to boot. He's also one of the nicest dudes I know. We did a little catching up and a little reminiscing when we sat down in Miami, and then he told us about how he ended up on Martin Garrix's Instagram story. I'm Reckless here in Miami. Where are we? Townhouse?
We are at the Townhouse, radioactive party, Townhouse.
This has been like the hang.
Man, like an hour ago, that was the hang.
Oh my God. By the way, so my man Codes.
What's up, everybody?
New York City. The last time I saw you was last year.
Walking down the Collins with Tommy.
Yeah. Me and Tommy Sunshine were roommates last year. We bumped into you on the street. Where did we go? We did a party.
And then I seen you guys again at Dirty Bird.
That's what it was.
5 in the morning.
That's what it
was. 4 in the morning.
You know, funny story. Me and Tommy were.
Tommy just.
Yes.
And I'm like, there they are.
We left our hotel room at 10 p.m. We're like, okay, we're gonna be gone by 1 a.m. That's it. That's our cutoff. Next thing you know, it's 6 a.m. We're in the back alley with Gavin and Justin.
Wait, did you come to space with us?
No.
Oh man, that night went into like.
Yes, because Justin and Gavin, we're nerding out right now.
Wow.
Justin and Gavin were like, yo, let's go to space. And me and Tommy were like, bet.
I was like, yo, I'm down. And that turned into like, we seen the sunrise come up on like, you know how space opens up, the top of it. And then I think Green Velvet and Jamie Jones were tag teaming.
Damn.
And Green Velvet ended up buying us steak and eggs the next morning.
I heard about that.
And like, I mean, that's like, to me, you know, there's so many people in dance music or whatever, but he's like one of the
he's a fucking
biggest legends there is in the whole house music thing or in dance music in general. And
from Flash to Percolator, I mean, come on.
But it was just like it was surreal. But that was like that night started me seeing you on Collins, and then like later on at this, and then that
having steak and eggs with Velvet.
Christ. But they didn't even bring steak and eggs. They brought avocado toast, and he got really pissed. And I was just like, I was laughing because I don't eat steak anyways. But I was like, yo, if Green Velvet buys the steak, I'm eating it. And like, I don't eat red meat. I haven't eaten red meat in a really long time.
But you were about to.
I was going to, but he brought avocado toast, and he was like, what the fuck? Man.
I didn't.
Anyways, Miami.
Yes.
And then we came back, and me and Gavin had to play 2 hours later.
Shut up. Oh my God.
Yo, and we played. That was so good.
Oh my
and now
God.
we're back at the same place, same year, same party. There's a line out the door.
It's wild, and it's been so crazy talking to some of the older guys. We've been doing this like big story on conference, listening to them tell these stories, and then now we're already like we're having ours like now. I think that's really amazing.
Coming as like as a kid that just loves music and back when I started coming, I was really into more, I would say like drum and bass and hip hop and turntablism but still was like kind of into house music, but that didn't really kind of happen until later on. But I've been coming to conference for probably like 14, 15. It's not even called conference anymore.
No.
They even dropped the conference part of it.
But Miami in March.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
And then now it's just crazy to like, I remember looking up to Craze and seeing him play and be like, wow, that's the baddest. Am I allowed to curse? But he's like the baddest motherfucker. And then for him to be like, hey, we want to sign some records for you for Slow Roast, and then touring in Australia with him and being like, this is the dude I used to just sit and so much magic happens in Miami, man.
So when did you start? Because I mean, you're one of the guys. There's a couple of dudes when I hear them play, if I'm not in the room, I can kind of visualize what's happening. But when you start scratching, I can't tell what your hands are doing anymore, and I have to come and watch. How long have you been like working on the like turntable side of DJing, like the turntablist side?
I mean, probably just as long. I mean, that's what interested me in DJing to begin with was movies like kind of cliche, but like Juice or even like TRL Live when Scribble before.
Oh my God, Scribble.
Him and I forget who else it was. They were doing this thing where they were doing doubles of a record, and they were jumping off and doing back and forth kind of thing. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And like, that is my shit. And I was like, I want to figure out how to do that. And my older cousin Woody took me out to a rave when I was 14 years old. And like back then, everything I feel like was a lot of all ages stuff, and like 16 and up, which you don't really see that anymore.
So
yeah.
Screw
and I was
age
just
limit.
like, man, I just like found this thing, and to me then it was jungle, and like it was the very end of it, like 97, 98, and I was like, that's still my favorite era of music and kind of music. Still to this day, that's like my favorite shit. But that, buying a mixtape, this dude scratching over top of it, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And then that kind of evolved into reggae music and playing all kinds of different kinds of like hip hop and even funk and soul, and eventually just like making my own kind of house music with all that influence like into that.
Well, when you can scratch like that, I mean, it can literally go with any genre. I mean, you can just apply
as long as you keep it funky, and you know, I feel like it's easy to kind of overdo and like not overdo it. And just
spice.
Practice and just be sharp with your cuts, and don't bring any whack shit and crush
these rules are adding up like really quick. It's just this, and then it's this and this and this and this.
I have a lot of rules.
Yes, a lot of rules.
But it helps keep everything sharp.
Yeah, fucking A.
Hell yeah.
You've been having a crazy couple of months. We were talking last night about the Spotify explosion you've been experiencing, and it's such a crazy story.
I mean, Spotify in general, all my Spotify fans and everybody, like, I love you guys, and man, Kramer has been really, really cool to me, and it was just like, you know, you get placed in these playlists, and it gives you exposure and like the opportunity to be exposed to like just places and people you would never ever be exposed to. And I think it's really cool what they do over there, and I didn't understand it at first. It actually like took me by surprise, and I didn't know anything about it, and people were just like, yo, your shit is in this playlist, or like it has this many whatever. And I was like, streaming? What? I have no idea. You know, like I didn't really get it. And then I realized how powerful and how great of a tool it was, and for so many things. Now that you put your shows up there, you can put your tickets up there, and the best thing for me is finding music that I couldn't find before.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is those jungle records that I fell in love with to begin with, records that I can't even find anymore. I started my own like little jungle playlist, and I've been finding all these crazy rare jungle records that I can't even get on vinyl. So I was just like, yo,
I want to hear that.
Yeah, I think it's, what did I call it? I think it's Code's jungle record ting, or like something.
It's gotta be a ting. It's gotta be a ting.
But big up Kramer, and he has a whole team with him, and they do it in a cool way where they put it in. If it does well, it stays in there. So it's like the fans kind of pick they'll try it out.
It's like its own little chart in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it's killing it, then it stays in there, and it keeps going. And sometimes it gets moved to other ones. But there's like a cool like science to it, where it's like, you know, if people are feeling it, more people need to hear it. And I'm about that.
Is that where the Martin Garrix connection came from?
Well, he has a whole bunch of playlists for his record label too, for Stamped, and his own playlist. And I started getting my records in there, and my manager was like, "Oh, Martin Garrix like put your tunes in his mix," and I was like, "What?" Like,
yo, no offense, you're the last dude I would expect.
I mean, I thought the same thing, because you know, my thing is I've always been pretty underground with everything that I do, and I respect that dude so much. So for that to be happening, I didn't understand what was really going on. And then I put out SOS with Golf Clap on Country Club. The day that came out, Kramer put it in I think Crate Diggers, and then it was in Garrix's thing, but I didn't know. I woke up. I know you're not supposed to check your phone right when you wake up, right?
But we all do. We all do.
I'll have a nervous breakdown if I don't, but like, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm like in bed, I got one eye open, and Watse, his manager, hit me up on Instagram
Garrick's his
message.
manager.
Yeah, and I was
he
just
slid
like,
in the DM.
and I was just like, man. And you know what? The universe is such a crazy thing because it was just like I respect and look up to those guys so much, and just the communication I had, and like right off the bat, he was just like, "Hey man, check out Garrick's Snap, or his Instagram Snap." And I looked at it, and he's got SOS in his playlist, his Spotify playlist, and like 1 million people had already viewed it, and I hadn't even woke up yet, and I was like, "Yo, like what is going on?" He's like, "Hey, you know, we have this label Stamped. Been following and digging your stuff for a while, and let's do a record." And I was like,
"That's dude, you can't buy that kind of exposure. That is bananas,
man." And there's certain people where you just, you know, if you have a phone conversation with them, even email sometimes, or even like a text, where you just feel a focus and a power that not everybody has, and I would say is a little rare. And I try to, and that's like my thing, is surrounding people that like have this, like, they're just like know what they're doing, killing it, and like that's it. There's no other way around it. But in being focused and having a vision for the light at the end of the tunnel. And like, man, it's just been a really cool year. That happened like right at the end of the year last year, and like it's just been a really cool year, and like super grateful for all this crazy random stuff where it's just like I just want to write music and kill shows, and like that helps me play or get a little more exposure and just build and learn.
Just allows you to kill more shows.
Yeah,
you know, go out there and play more, and you know.
But I feel like the growth has been so quick, like me, like mentally and like as a person and stuff, where it's like even just like writing music, because I got stuck for that stupid storm.
Oh yeah.
And I was freaking out for coming because I had all these records I wanted to finish, and it was like a blessing that it happened, and like I finished 3 records in the snowstorm in the studio that I was locked in, and then called American Airlines after like 8 flight cancellations, and finally at 1 o'clock in the morning they're like, "Yo, somebody just canceled their seat, and you're gonna make your set for Psycho Disco."
Some things are supposed to happen, man. You got snowed in, you missed something. I heard like 8 flights.
Well, but it was probably like 4 flights, and then they kept putting me on these standbys, and the standbys kept getting canceled, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not getting out of here." Actually, no, that's not what I said. I was like, "I am getting out of here some fucking way."
The stars have aligned, dude. That's crazy. I honestly couldn't happen to a nicer dude.
I need a nap, man.
Could not happen to a nicer dude, man.
Oh, man.
I hope that in the new year, more and more of you know Codes, because he is an incredibly talented guy, and he's literally one of the nicest dudes I've ever met.
Well, some of my favorite shows, you know, this guy had a lot to do with that at Webster before Webster is done. And
some crazy times, man.
Man, that was a like there's a new era now. That's why I think everything's awesome now. There's all these new things happen. That era is still like that will always be one of my favorites.
Well, that was crazy. But let's talk about what's going on in Brooklyn for just a second, like just to bring it back. I mean, again, a lot of what we're doing is really personal. Sorry if you don't like it, but deal with it. Like everything in Brooklyn right now, it's almost nightlife in general in New York City is just going over the river. And I'm hoping, and let me know if this is something that you see, because I don't go out as much as I used to. I'm hoping that it allows for more creativity, because in the city, it's all about turning a profit. And in Brooklyn, I'm hoping that these new venues are going to give people the chance to fail, because only by going up there and failing do you figure out what works.
Yeah. I love Brooklyn, and I'm like super blessed just because there's so much stuff to do like every night, but there's like I feel like there is like a tiny bit of a void in Manhattan, but
big void.
But I think that's cool though too, because like I said, there's a new wave of things. Like we just started our groundwork party that's in Chinatown, and we're doing it once a month on Thursday. Yeah, and that's the reason why I was just like, there's so much going on in Brooklyn right now, which is awesome. But there's like this new space that a friend of mine runs, and like it's beautiful, and down in the 50 Bowery underneath that new hotel.
Nice.
Golden, some restaurant, I think Rice Gold or Gold Rice or something like that. But
Gold Rice.
But it's but so we're trying to like, we're not trying, we're kind of just like thing where it's groundwork, and we're trying to do it as like a community where it's like more of, you know, everyone who wants to come through, if Tommy wants to come through, if Kramer wants to come through, or Austin Kramer wants to come through, or like have them do. I just want a place where people can build and hear dope stuff, and we'll bring in out of town talent based on like kind of the lane of cool shit, whatever, you know, and
bring it, man.
Some new stuff.
That's beautiful. I love it, man.
Thanks, man.
You know I wish nothing but the best for you, right?
Yo.
I'm gonna see you later tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. My
Big
pleasure.
Up.